ZABoxingNation, where boxing lives, breathes, and breaks down. Today is September 16th, 2025, and fight fans, what a weekend. We've got Terrence Bud Crawford making history against Saul Canelo Alvarez. Naoya, the monster Inoue, showing once again why he's called the monster. Two big fights on the horizon with David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde, plus Devin the Dream Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. And of course, your favorite segment on this day in boxing history. Let's break this all down. Saul Canelo Alvarez is 62 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws, 39 big wins coming by way of knockout. He entered this fight with the weight of his legacy on the line. Terrence Bud Crawford, now a 3-division undisputed champion. He's undisputed at 140, 147, and 168 pounds. He stunned the boxing world yet again by outclassing Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is arguably the greatest Mexican fighter to ever lace up a pair of gloves, right next to Julio Cesar Chavez. While some fans argue that Saul Canelo Alvarez's prime has passed, the truth is Terrence Bud Crawford's skill set, timing, ring IQ, and adaptability makes him one of the greatest technicians of this generation. Will Saul Canelo Alvarez fight again, or does he hang up the gloves after a legendary career? Meanwhile, Terrence Bud Crawford now sits in a unique spot. No one questions his greatness, but where does he go from here? Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde. This matchup has the boxing world buzzing, not just because of the styles, but because David Benavidez is officially moving up to light heavyweight. He had one fight with David Morrell, but this is a real test. David Benavidez is 30 wins, 0 losses, and 24 big wins coming by way of knockout. He's known as the Ecuadorian monster. He's known for his relentless pressure, absurd punch output, and the ability to overwhelm opponents with sheer volume. At 168, he dominated fighters like Caleb Plant, David Lemieux. But now the question is, how will his power and stamina really carry over fighting a true 175-pound fighter? Anthony Yarde, he's 27 wins, 3 losses, and 24 big wins coming by way of knockout. One of the most dangerous punchers at light heavyweight. Anthony Yarde's explosive power has troubled even the best at 175 pounds. His performance against Arthur Beterbiev in January 2023 proved that he belonged at the world-class level. While he still lost the fight, he hurt Beterbiev multiple times and showed that he's more than just raw power. Now, David Benavidez, he's a volume puncher. He's stepping into a division filled with knockout artists. He'll still push the pace, but at light heavyweight, every incoming punch will carry more danger. Anthony Yarde, he'll look to counter David Benavidez's pressure with sharp power shots. His best chance is to make David Benavidez respect his power early. David Benavidez, a volume puncher stepping into a division filled with knockout artists. I believe he'll still push the pace, but at light heavyweight, every incoming punch will carry more danger. Anthony Yarde, he'll look to counter David Benavidez's pressure with sharp power shots. His best chance is to make David Benavidez respect his power early. Otherwise, David Benavidez's non-stop attack could drain him. This fight is about legitimacy. Can David Benavidez carry his dominance into a heavier division, or will Anthony Yarde expose him as vulnerable at light heavyweight? For Anthony Yarde, this is the redemption, a chance to beat one of boxing's most avoided fighters and finally secure his breakthrough moment. Benavidez's chin and stamina hold up. His pace could overwhelm Anthony Yarde late in the fight, just like it did so many other elite fighters at super middleweight. Either way, this is a fight where fans should expect fireworks from round 1. Both of these guys promising to come forward. Anthony Yarde and David Benavidez is going to be in Saudi Arabia. Let me know what you guys think about that fight in the comments below. Fascinating matchup that pits experience versus youth. Devin the Dream Haney, who is 30 wins, 0 losses, and 15 big wins coming by way of knockout. At just 26 years old, Devin the Dream Haney has already been undisputed at lightweight and moved up to 140. His biggest wins is against Vasil High-Tech Lomachenko, George Kambosos, and Regis Prograis. He's known as the Dream. He's a defensive wizard with the jab that controls his fights. Critics say that he lacks knockout power, but he's still nullifying elite opponents. Brian Norman Jr., he has 28 wins, 0 losses, and 22 big wins coming by way of knockout. Just 24 years old and already a dangerous contender. With 22 knockouts in 28 fights, he has serious finishing ability. His style is extremely aggressive, high pressure, and he isn't afraid to trade with the best of them. Brian Norman Jr. is considered one of the best kept secrets in American boxing until now. Devin the Dream Haney will look to keep the distance, work behind his jab, and use his footwork to frustrate Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. will need to cut off the ring, force Devin the Dream Haney into exchanges, and test his chin. This fight is major for both of these guys. For Devin the Dream Haney, it's about proving he can hold his ground against punchers as he climbs divisions. For Brian Norman Jr., it's his chance to explode onto the world stage by taking out an undefeated former undisputed champion. This fight feels like a classic boxer versus puncher narrative, but the added spice, Devin the Dream Haney has been vulnerable late in fights, especially against a guy like Ryan Garcia. And we see Lomachenko and Jorge Linares, he hurt Devin the Dream Haney as well. Brian Norman Jr. being younger and fresher, he might capitalize off those lapses. Let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Devin the Dream Haney versus Brian Norman Jr. And now for your favorite segment on this day in boxing history. September 16th, 1981, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns. Sugar Ray Leonard, 30 wins and 1 loss at the time, was a slick boxer with speed and combination punching ability. Tommy Hearns, 32 wins, 0 losses, and was known as the Hitman, a tall and devastating puncher with a sledgehammer right hand. The fight was a masterclass. Tommy Hearns built an early lead with his jab and his reach, but Sugar Ray Leonard dug deep, storming back late and stopping Hearns in the 14th round. It was one of the most dramatic comebacks in the best fights at welterweight. That fight turned September 16th into a boxing holiday. Over the years, it's been owned by Mexican fighters Julio Cesar Chavez, Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, and of course, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Every Mexican Independence weekend, fans expect fireworks, and 2025 is shaping up to continue that tradition. But that wraps up my segments for today. What do you think about David Benavidez versus Anthony Yarde at light heavyweight? And Devin the Dream Haney versus Brian Norman Jr.? Do you see Terrence Bud Crawford cementing himself further in history by fighting the likes of David Benavidez? Or maybe even Dimitri Bivol? Or does Saul Canelo Alvarez still have one more fight left in the rematch? Drop your takes in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you never miss out on an update. But this is ZABoxingNation, where champions get analyzed and legends are made. And if you're new here, keep your hands up, and I'll catch you in the next one.